The reason why compassion might be hard for somebody that lives in 2021 is because a lot of the communities on the internet might push this idea that being compassionate towards people is only acceptable when they are also acceptable, which is ironic because a lot of people consider this generation to be the most accepting. But what does accepting mean? Accepting means allowing people to do things. Everything is allowed. It's just that nothing is forgivable. You can do whatever you want. It's just remember that there's gonna be consequences if you mess up. But there is no messing up. You can do whatever you want. Actually, everything is fine. You can do anything that comes to mind. It's just that some things you can't do, which means that you're gonna be in trouble if you do any of those things. And that's kind of the confusing world that a lot of kids live in, is they feel like all their mistakes are gonna be remembered forever and that they have a digital footprint and that everything you post on the internet is gonna be there forever and there's nothing you can do about it, while also saying that you can do whatever you want and this is the most accepting people and most accepting generation of all time. Now, since I've been on the internet for a very long time, I have come to learn not to have compassion for people. Every time I see a post, I just like to tell myself that they deserve it. If I see a post where someone's getting canceled, I tell myself that, oh, I wouldn't do that. I would never mess up the way that they did. They messed up and, oh my God, they're terrible for that. That's why people will radicalize these terrible things that people do and make it so it's the worst possible thing. Like if you cheat, then you're a cheater. But if I cheat, then it's just a one-time instance thing and I'm not actually a cheater. I'm gonna grow from it, right? But we don't ever give other people that benefit of the doubt. And obviously I'm Christian, so being Christian means that I am slowly learning how to have compassion for people, because Jesus is probably the most compassionate person in all of history. He cried when someone lost their loved one, even though he knew that he was gonna go and resurrect them from the dead. But you know why he cried? Because he knew that they were gonna die again. That is such a ridiculous amount of compassion, to where you think so far ahead in their life that you're thinking about the day that they're going to die again after you resurrect them from the dead. Learning to have that kind of compassion in a time like this also means forgiving those who are unforgivable. It's not very important to me that you forgive celebrities. I don't really care about celebrities personally. I don't think that that's really an important topic of conversation, but I'm talking about the people in your life, because there's probably someone in your life that needs forgiveness and needs you to message them and let them know that you have no hard feelings on them and that you love them. Obviously, to whatever extent you can, because if that's someone who did you really, really wrong, obviously to jail means, then maybe take that one a little slower. But we all know damn well that there's people that we demonize in our life. Whatever they did, we made it out to be something so terrible, even though it really wasn't that bad. And maybe it was really bad. But what's important is that you forgiving them is actually one of the biggest steps in a healing process. And it helps you grow into a compassionate person so that you don't just see everybody as a possibility for a mistake. Because everyone is going to make mistakes. That's why you always go on Twitter and everyone's talking about their ex that they hate and their ex did this and they're terrible and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, those people are the exes too. Like, there's not a single non-guilty person in that instance. Everyone messed up. Having compassion isn't popular. Being compassionate for people is not popular in the slightest. You will not be accepted into a lot of people's communities if you are compassionate. If you're a liberal, you cannot be very compassionate towards people on the far right. You can't. If you are a conservative, you can't be very compassionate to people who are communists or socialists. You can't be compassionate to those people because they radically go against everything that your group stands for. So people are going to get you to believe that they are super evil and they're not just a product of their environment and a product of all their friends and a product of a bunch of things. You know what I mean? That's why it's so upsetting when we look at a lot of leftists who they'll call people who are born in this deep south, they'll call them hicks and they'll say they're hillbillies and they'll make fun of them for literally being poor. And we hate that. We hate seeing that because we realize that those people are quite literally just a product of ignorance and being in their environment. But we are absolutely the same. And we have to remember that everyone needs needs a little bit of compassion, no matter if they're homeless, if it's your little brother, if it's your older brother, if it's your parents. And believe me, we've all been there. A lot of people hate their parents when they're young, but just know that even they are a product of the people they've experienced. Your parents have probably hated their own parents and then regretted it after they were dead, and realized that a lot of the things they taught them, even if they weren't directly teaching them on purpose, it might have been an accident, but you still learned from it. And those are probably one of the most beautiful things you can learn from. So don't take it for granted. You're living a beautiful life, and, have some compassion with the other people that are living in the same time period as you. Just not the people who've lived in another time period. Those people could probably stay there, like Hitler or Demi Lovato. The next time that someone makes you angry, I want you to pause. Don't get angry. Don't even think about it. If you have to shut off your phone even, and I want you to take a second and be like, what are the possibilities that could have gotten them to this point? Are they just an edgy teenager on the internet, or are they just an edgy teenager in real life? What does their home life look like? We all know what happens with bullies once they go home. It's not pretty. So the next time you have a scenario where you want to get upset at somebody, or you want to curse someone out or prove someone wrong in a debate or whatever, have compassion. I want you to try your best to love on them in some way in your brain. And the difference is immeasurable. It will literally change your day, because it's like everyone knows that feeling when you go and spend a bunch of time on the internet debating or arguing with people. It doesn't feel good at the end of the day. It doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. So yeah, go with love, and yeah, have a good one.